Hey you guys, welcome to the Fulfilled and Fit podcast. I am so excited to have you here again today listening in, and we are going back to our Inspiring People interview series today, and I am so excited to have my friend and colleague Shannon here. We are going to talk all things service today. She has so much wisdom and encouragement and things to share about it. Shannon is somebody that I definitely look up to in my local community as someone who really gets involved in so many different aspects of the community, of service, of touching other people's lives. And so it's a really cool honor to have her here today on the podcast. So without further ado, Shannon, why don't you give us a little brief introduction of yourself?
Thanks, Jessie. That was very touching already. I'm like, wow, little tear over here. I'm Shannon Majewski. I am the outreach coordinator for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northeast Ohio. Really honored to be here and to have you highlight this and highlight service and how important it is to our community and what we're doing. I myself have been a big sister for the past, it'll be 8 years in August.
Wow.
She's a young woman now. She was 8 years old when I was first matched with her, and now 16 going on 25. So really excited to share my experience and really hopefully have people inspired as well.
That's amazing. That is so awesome. And I think I saw your social media post. Did she just get her license?
She did.
I was going to say, I saw that, and that must be so cool because you've literally been been part of her life for such a big, important piece or time of her life,
Well, actually, someone said it the other day. I've known her half her life. She's 16. She was 8 when I was first matched with her. So to think about knowing this child for 8 years of, half of her life has been pretty incredible. And to see her strive and to really see her, like you said, get her license is a huge, huge ordeal that I don't think people realize. I don't have kids yet, so I don't have that, milestone, but to see her, really being successful in school and getting a driver's license is such a cool experience.
That's really, really awesome. So for those who are listening and aren't familiar with Big Brothers Big Sisters, what is the organization and what are kind of the goals that are, aiming to be accomplished?
So Big Brothers Big Sisters is really a mentoring program. It's a friendship. Our community-based program, we serve children between the ages of 6 and 15, mm-hmm. and we match them with adult volunteers who have some spare time that really want to build a positive friendship with these children. Mm-hmm. We serve Lake Geauga and Ashtabula counties. I think a lot of people don't know that. So we're in a tri-county area and serving over 400 children a year, which is
wow. Cool. Is that 400 new children a year?
So we have a couple different programs, so that all kind of ties into. So yeah, about 100 of our matches are generally ongoing. That's the community-based program, but the rest are through our after-school program. We have an e-city program, and then also some just other little programs that we do.
That's amazing. So just to kind of give listeners, an idea of it, you obviously represent our local chapter for the Tri-Counties, but do you know how many chapters there are? Is there like a Big Brothers of America, or is this is something that is nationwide, correct?
It is. There is a hub, we'll say, a mothership is Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. And then each state has a lot of them are kind of joining together now. So we're Northeast Ohio. At one point, there was a Big Brothers Big Sisters of Ashtabula County. And obviously with times being tighter and stuff like that, they've merged together. So I believe in Ohio, we have 17 agencies throughout Ohio. Okay. We have thousands of bigs throughout the United States.
That's really cool. That is really neat. So if people are listening from other states and in other areas, this is something that's available, kind of nationwide, that if they chose, and were inspired by our interview, something that they wanted to get involved with, they could.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Most agencies are around the area. So if you were in your local area and you knew that you were interested, you could definitely look them up, and there should be one around.
That's really neat. So we're going to touch back on Big Brothers Big Sisters in a minute, but you also do a lot of other things, which is how I've met you through the community and through service. Can you just touch on those? Because I think it's really inspiring to hear of a young professional who is, not just taking a back seat in the community and just kind of, doing minimal things, but really truly is getting involved. And I think it will help open, our listeners' eyes of how many different opportunities might be available in their community as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a pretty lengthy list. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I've really, networking is so important. I can't say how much networking has done for me and really connected me in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I just turned over my reins. I was the board chair of our Young Leaders of United Way group. That was a really fun group that we've just started about 3 years ago, and I had the opportunity to serve as vice chair and then chair this year. So I just turned over my reins, so it's a little weird that I'm not involved in that right now, per se. I still sit on the board, and obviously I'm still involved with Young Leaders.
Right.
Sorry, that I can't control because that's my office phone.
That's okay.
So there's that. I also am a part of a young professionals group. So with us serving 3 different counties, really trying to get that networking in different counties and serving in different counties.
Mm-hmm.
So I also am a part of a young professionals group in Ashtabula County.
Okay.
And I volunteer quite a bit, obviously through Big Brothers Big Sisters. A lot of soup kitchens my little and I actually are very involved with. And I'm also an advocate for the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center downtown. Okay. That's been a really big interest of mine and really excited about that. So yeah, it's that networking, that really trying to serve others, and sorry.
Okay. That's really cool. So you have really kind of taken the opportunity of service being out there and kind of ran with it in so many different avenues and things that you are passionate about. And I love that you and your little sister have been able to kind of do that together. Tell me like a little bit about your relationship with service. Is it something that you kind of always integrated in your life? It was, kind of part of you since you were little, or did you find a certain passion for it in high school, or when did you start kind of developing, this passion for service?
I don't know that I can pinpoint a specific time. I've always been really passionate about service. I grew up in a family that drugs and alcohol were there. So that's why Big Brothers Big Sisters is my choice. I kind of fell into everything working together, but I was very fortunate growing up with a mother who worked very, very hard to make sure that we had what we needed, but I by far didn't have, everything. And it's always been a passion of mine to want to serve in any capacity, in any way. And again, Big Brothers Big Sisters just kind of fell into the right avenue of what I was looking for. And so, yeah. That's
awesome. When did you first get involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters and with service around 8 years ago, or were you kind of dabbling in it before, or how did that work?
So it's actually kind of a funny story. I had always been interested in Big Brothers Big Sisters, but never really knew how to get involved. Was busy, obviously, life, work, school. At the time, I was going to school full time and working and trying to be a normal 22. I was 22 when I first got involved with Big Brothers. So I was actually driving home from school and actually saw a Lake Tran bus, and there was the sign on the back of it that said you could be a Big Brother, Big Sister. So when we talk about religion and faith, I totally put that to God, that it was God's sign in front of me. Had always been really interested, but like I said, time, work, life, not really sure how to take that next step, and that sign just appeared in front of me, and I was blessed to be matched with Courtney, someone very similar to me, very similar in a family situation. So it was definitely a God wink in what I call, and I totally credit him for matching us and putting us together.
That's amazing. And that actually leads right into my question was, if faith played a role in your decision to serve. Obviously, with the faith that I practice, that service is a huge part of it. And I do believe whether you follow God yet or not, or whatever your path is, I think faith is such an integral part of being a human. It just provides so much fulfillment and for yourself personally, but also I do believe like all of us are meant to help other people and serve others in some way. And I don't know if you feel like this, but I feel like when I volunteer and I give my time or I do something for Make-A-Wish, or, I am part of some sort of organization that's doing something for the greater good of other people, I personally sometimes almost feel guilty, thinking, did I get more out of this personally than I'm providing to them? I don't know. Do you ever feel like that?
So that's actually a huge question when I do our presentations.
Yeah.
So one of the cool things about my position is it was a new position for Big Brothers. We didn't have an outreach coordinator, and because of my relationship with Courtney and me physically living the mission, they created this position. So what I get to do is now go and share my story and my passion with others to try to get others to volunteer. So one of the big things that I always say is that so often, obviously our programs are centered based on the children, but so many of our volunteers, and I'm 100% of it, I feel like I get just as much out of the program as Courtney does. And it's that relationship, it's give and take. And over the years, Courtney and I have struggled a lot together. We've, had happy tears, sad tears, and it's definitely really cool to see us both experience and both get something from this program.
That's really neat. And I do think that it doesn't, I am happy that you agree with it, because sometimes I do feel guilty, like, oh, am I just like getting more out of this than I'm giving? But I do feel like whether it's Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Make-A-Wish, it's your local soup kitchen, your church, your family, just serving, even just taking the trash out, right? For somebody else, sometimes you're like, I know I did good for them, and that makes me feel good. Absolutely. I know that their day is going to be brightened by this. So I do think that is a huge benefit to service. And if somebody listening is not currently looking for opportunities and ways to serve, it is something that, isn't just, it's not subtracting from your life, right? It might seem like that on the surface, where service is subtracting from your time because you're giving it away, right? But I feel like what you get in return is 100 times better than, the time, quote unquote, that you're losing,
Absolutely. And, so many of our volunteers, when we go back to Big Brothers, Big Sisters, so many of our volunteers are so afraid of that time commitment. When we hear time, we have 24 hours in a day, and how am I going to do all of this in one day and do work and, family or whatever, and then try to mentor a child or, volunteer to soup kitchen. And I personally can't consider volunteering. I can't consider what I do volunteering. Courtney is so much a part of my life and my doing and my being. So it's not even something that I, consider volunteering.
Yeah, that brings up a really good point, though, and maybe we should clear it for those who are listening and do have that, instant objection to this about services. Yeah, it must be nice to serve, because I'm sure there's people listening, because I know I've been there before too, and so there's no judgment on those who may be thinking this, because I have too, but who are thinking, it would be great to volunteer and serve somewhere or build a connection with somebody, but I just don't have the time. How much time per se is involved with something like this, if they were to get involved? Or how much time would you say, on an average, being of service in the community, do you spend, maybe monthly, weekly, whatever it may be?
I mean, it's all based on what you can give, and that's the great thing about service, is you can give as much time as you want, or you can give as little as time as you want. Obviously, the more you do it, the more you're going to realize that it's not about a time commitment, talking about that time commitment or a time restraint, anything like that. So Big Brothers, Big Sisters, with our volunteers, we ask for a year commitment, and that can be scary to some people. Some people say, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Right.
So that time commitment can kind of be scary, but when you really hear the details of what it really entails and why we ask that, the majority of our children that we serve, we are serving single parent families. We're also serving those with loved ones incarcerated, so mom, dad, someone that's incarcerated. So they've had so many people come in and out of their life that this year commitment is really critical to them, because we don't want to put one more person back into their world and take them away.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So we ask for a year commitment, and then what we really strive to get our volunteers to do is see that child once a week for a couple hours a week. really that's nothing. And then really once you build that relationship, that rapport with them, it really becomes what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. You know, so many times I get Courtney and she's doing whatever I'm doing, you know. So it's really goes back to that. I'm not volunteering. I can't even call this volunteering. As far as other things in the community, I mean, monthly, I'm definitely doing things, again, work, life, you know, stuff like that. But it's really about that give and take and what you can really, I think that the big thing is you really need to find what's best for you and what works for you. No time is too little, I believe, and it's really about what you can do.
I love that. And I love that you started all that out by saying, you know, it's really what you can give, because so many people think, well, I can't give 10 hours a week to volunteering. Well, it doesn't take 10 hours a week to volunteer and to make a difference in someone's life. It might take 2, it might take 1, it might take, you know, if it's not Big Brothers, Big Sisters, where there is, you know, where you are trying to build that weekly, you know, relationship, it might be 3 hours a month, and that still could make a difference, you know? So I love that you brought up that point, and I feel like it is the truth in terms of that objection. And I just pray that a lot of people will realize that any amount of time is ability to make a difference for themselves and then for others too.
Absolutely.
So what would you say is your favorite part about the service that you do? Is there some favorite activity you do or aspect of it, or maybe how it's influenced you in other ways?
I mean, it's all my favorite, in all honesty. I love, so we talk about with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and I'm going to keep going back to that, but that commitment, that time commitment, that regular person, I also get that too. So I know that I get to see Courtney, and I know that when I'm with Courtney, the rest of the world doesn't matter. You know, the time that I spend with her, it's her and I, and it's not my cell phone, it's not work, it's not anything else. It's the two of us. What's going on in her world, what's going on in my world. You know, we really get to share that, and we get to step out of the world, step out of our shoes for a little bit, and just be the two of us. Not anything specific that I really look forward to, but we do so many different things. Courtney is really great at tagging along with things that I enjoy, and obviously things that she enjoys too. We actually she has rheumatoid arthritis. She's had it her whole life. So think about a 16-year-old struggling with rheumatoid arthritis. And I run. I enjoy running, and she doesn't. She didn't. And 2 years ago, I actually challenged her to run the Rock City, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 5K. So we did it with Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We got some sponsors, and we ran it together. And the whole goal was just to complete it. It didn't matter if it took a full hour. It didn't matter what it was. It was that we completed it together. We crossed the finish line together. So we did it, and actually did it in a really great time, which was really surprising, total bonus. So it was really tough on her. It was really tough for her to run 3 miles. You know, so often we don't think that we're running, you know, running 3 miles is, you know, to some people nothing, but to others, you know, they can't. Right. And the really cool thing this year was she came back and asked me this year if we could do it again. So we were able to complete it again this year and really kind of focus on more of a time, and again, cross the finish line together.
That is really cool. Is it this year that it hasn't happened yet? Has it? Is it in the
No, this will be our 3rd year running it. It'll be in August, I believe.
Oh, that's so fun. And I love that you clearly had an impact on her too with some of the activities in a positive way. You didn't obviously force her because she came back again to see if you would do it, but that you guys were able to set out on a goal and do it together. I think that's really cool.
Absolutely. And actually talking about running, it brings up another opportunity for volunteering. And, you know, when we talk about that, as much as you can give the time wise, there's a website, and I don't know if you've seen me post it on Facebook, but there's a website called Who I Run For.
Oh, no.
It's a nonprofit group on Facebook that has come together with a lot of avid runners, but also 2 individuals who work out. So this is great for this site. What happens is you are matched, per se, with a child with a disability or some way, shape, or form as to why they can't run or do anything like that. So you're matched with them, and then what you're supposed to do, the idea is that you post a couple times on Facebook that, hey, I ran 3 miles for so-and-so. So I've been doing that for 2 years. I've never met Dominic before, but I have now built a relationship with him and his mother. They live in Minnesota. I think it's Minnesota. And, I run. So I do something that I'm doing daily, and I'm dedicating my runs to him, which he actually pushes me, knowing that he has a disability and he can't necessarily run and have the ability to run. So when I don't want to go that extra mile, I know that he's in the back of my head going, go Shannon, like do this for me. So when we talk about time limits, that's something I'm doing already. So why not be matched with someone and give someone the joy of knowing that you're thinking about them when you're running? Something basic and simple like that.
That is amazing. I wrote it down, and I'm going to link it in the show notes because I love that. And especially, I know so many people, obviously listening to this podcast too. It's called Fulfilled and Fit.
That's why I was like totally perfect.
Yeah. A lot of people are interested in, we're looking at the holistic aspect of living your best life, whether that be, and that encompasses faith, service, wellness, taking care of the vessel that we have been given so that way we can achieve our purposes and help other people. And what that fits so perfectly into taking care of yourself, helping other people while you're doing it. And like you said, it's no added time.
No.
But it's making a difference. And I feel like that is so key, especially such a great way for people to onboard maybe their service adventure, if you will, in terms of, starting with something and getting that fulfillment and being able to provide that joy to somebody else without having to, quote unquote, hinder any of their current timeline. And then as people onboard into that and see how amazing service can be and how much value it adds to your life, maybe that would help spur them in other ways. So I love that you shared that, and I'm definitely going to link it into our show notes. And then also, I'm going to check it out because that is really cool. And I hate running, so maybe this will motivate me.
Well, and that's the cool part, is that you really get to inspire each other. And it doesn't have to be running. It can be any workout. As long as
I can do that then. We're good.
Yeah, no, it's called Who I Run For because that's how it started. It was runners that are running marathons or running races or anything. And it's just really trickled into this, the membership is ridiculous. And I'm not even going to tell you how many members because I don't even want to, I'll be wrong. They're all over the world. We're this website is serving individuals in different countries, different children with disabilities. And it's as simple as matching them up. You really don't even have, some people meet each other, which is really cool. I've told Dominic is a little boy I run for. I've told his mother that I can't wait to meet them someday. It's just something simple and basic as, like I said, time. I run. So I'm already doing that. I can dedicate that run to him. He's actually been in the hospital, and I just put on Facebook that I could use some prayers for him, something simple that people said were praying for him. So I sent his mom a text message last night to see how he was doing, and she was like, thank you so much. Your prayers work. He's feeling so much better. So that's things that we don't think about. We ask for prayers for someone that they don't know. You send a simple prayer. I'm running for him. It's just the whole roundabout way of, what serving does and how serving helps us in so many different aspects and ways in our life.
Absolutely. And I think that is so spot on. Since you just brought that up, what area of your life do you feel like service has had the most impact on? That's probably a tricky question, so if you need to take a second to think about it. I know you love it all, but if you had to pick one, do you feel like it's, your mindset or your personal growth or your drive or your overall happiness, or I'm just throwing things out there, just curious, or is it the way that you treat other people, or it's the way that you are grateful for things? I guess probably all of those, but if you have to pick one.
Yeah, I'm literally going to say I don't know that I can pick one. It's made me realize how grateful I am. Mm-hmm. Being with Big Brothers Big Sisters has really, to see what Courtney struggles with, I struggled with that too. So to be able to give back to someone, I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have someone that I could rely on. And to be able to do that for Courtney is so fulfilling to me, but it also helps heal me in a different way. Growing up with a father with a drug and alcohol problem is really tough. And when you have to grow up really early, it's difficult and you lose some of your childhood. And to be able to be there for Courtney, like I said, it's fulfilled so many different things and helped me grow in every way you just talked about. So I'm going to go on this and say I can't really say it's really changed my life for the better in every possible way.
That's amazing, and I totally believe it too. I was just trying to challenge you with what, but that is super cool. So, only like 2 more questions. How can people get involved? Specifically, since we have talked a lot about Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I think there's a lot of people who are listening that would love to learn more about the opportunity. How could they, A, find out where a chapter is in their area, and B, how could they kind of dive into getting involved?
So the best thing to definitely do if you're looking for something in your area, whether it be Northeast Ohio, wherever, is really to just Google your closest chapter. Mm-hmm. If you are in Northeast Ohio, please give me 5 minutes of your time. So often I do we do advertising with the radio, the local radio, and that's what I say. Give me 5 minutes of your time to share my experience with Courtney. Not all matches are 8 years in length. A lot of our matches go about 3 years. But there's some matches that are still together after 30 years. So wow. Our personal stories, I really think, are what gets people interested and really wanting to do that. We talk about it takes 13 touches for an individual to actually finally go through with volunteering. So that could be hearing an ad on the radio, seeing something like this. If you really think about 13 touches, that seems like a lot. But really, like I said, 5 minutes of your time if you're around Northeast Ohio, we really are changing lives, and there's so many children that could really use a positive role model, someone that they could look up to. Easiest way is to either give us a call or visit our website. And then, like I said, for those that are not in Northeast Ohio, same thing. Just pick up the phone or jump on the good old internet and Google their local Big Brothers Big Sisters or any organization for that matter.
That's awesome. And so what is the website, and are you able to give out your email in case people want to directly email you?
Absolutely. Our website is bbsneo.org. So that's Big Brothers Big Sisters Northeast Ohio. And my email address is smajewski@bbbsneo.org.
Awesome. That's perfect. And before I finish kind of with my last question, because I forgot to bring it up earlier, you recently was awarded something for Big Brothers Big Sisters. Can you expand on that?
I was. I had the opportunity to receive Big Sister of the Year for the state of Ohio.
That's amazing.
It was a pretty cool honor. Really unique opportunity, and it also lands me in the running for National Big Sister of the Year.
So, oh my gosh!
Yeah, we're waiting to hear what's going on with that. So there's a potential that I could be National Big Sister of the Year. With that being said, obviously winning for the state of Ohio is a huge honor, and would love to really be able to share national with Courtney, with my little sister, because obviously without her, I wouldn't have gotten this award. But the really cool thing about getting this award is when we had to do some extra work for this national award, and it involved me writing an essay, Courtney's mom writing an essay, and Courtney actually writing an essay. And I say this with as much raw emotion as I can. When I got the letters from both Courtney and her mom, specifically from her mother and I didn't always have the best relationship. And to hear what she wrote on paper, she actually read it to me. We read them to each other over the phone, and it was full tears. So I already feel like I won, because regardless of an award, I don't need that. I got to hear what her mom really truly feels and what the program has done for Courtney and the family as well, not just mom. So I already won. And in essence, it would be amazing, obviously, to receive a national award, but I already won. I don't need an award to show me what this program really does and how it's helped Courtney and her family.
That's amazing. And if there's anything that we can do in terms of, I don't know how it works with voting, but if you do end up getting in the running, please make sure you let me know so that way I can blast it out to our community, because that is a really big deal. It's a really cool honor. And I think it says a lot that you went into this, 8 years ago, just because you could connect with the community, and look at how much it's impacted your life, how much you've impacted others, and to be at this point, I think is really cool and inspiring, and hopefully I know is inspiring the people who are listening as well. So very neat. So you'll have to keep us updated on that.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll be hearing soon.
Yay, cool. So the last question is, what is the number one piece of advice you would give to someone who wants to get more involved with their community, with service, with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, etc.? If there's one piece of advice you have to give, what would that be?
I guess to really not be intimidated. Especially our generation, I think it's intimidating to go into, when we talked about networking and networking being so important, networking is so not comfortable for a lot of people. And without networking, I really don't think you can be successful, especially in the community. There's been so many individuals that I have met that I would have never met if it weren't for networking. So really that comfort level, stepping out of your comfort level, stepping out of your boundaries, doing different things, taking time as, who I run for, thinking about getting out of that mindset of that time commitment. And what is it, going to take away from me, or really think about what is it going to do for me? How is it going to help inspire me? So that's what I would have to say for that.
Love it. That is perfect. Well, Shannon, thank you again so much for taking the time to chat with us today. It was, again, another awesome interview. And for those of you guys who are listening, make sure that you go and check out Big Brothers, Big Sisters, connect with Shannon, be inspired by this, and really look at ways that you can take action in your community, small and big ways that you can get out there and serve, because it truly does make a difference in not only in their lives, but in your life as well. So thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Fulfilled and Fit podcast, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.